Buongiorno onorevole Segretario Generale delle Nazioni Unite. Buon dia, Professor Guterres. I will try to address you my message with the little English I know, hoping to be able to make it understandable. My name is Domenico Mastro Giuseppe. I'm an old physicist. Before the L'Aquila earthquake, I was the director of the electromagnetism laboratory of the Scientific Park of L'Aquila, my city. I'm honored to address you the following appeal for the Earth on behalf of the 500 citizens of the world who have subscribed it. We have decided to send our appeal to you because we believe that today you are the only and most authoritative public figure who, for the personal sensitivity towards environment and towards all humanity, can better interpret and make your own our anxieties and worries for the fate of the earth. If you are watching this short video, I thank you very much. And I pray you to keep watching it for just a few more minutes, because it can be useful for better understanding the reasons for which we did it. We all greatly appreciated the message of good wishes that you wanted to address to all humanity on the occasion of the beginning of the new year. We especially appreciated your sincerity, made certain and absolute by your great and personal commitment that you have shown so far for the environment, for refugees, and for peace. From your message, we understood that this time, this appeal will not go unheard like the previous one, sent in vain to all the heads of state of democratic countries. At various times, the same appeal had also been sent to President Barroso, Juncker, and Ursula von der Leyen, who very politely replied, but without doing anything. The whole scientific community attributes global warming just to the heat of the sun combined with the greenhouse effect. But this position is denied by the measurement carried out by NASA in the last century. Measurement on the trend of the average temperature of the biosphere and on the trend of solar activity. These measures are graphically represented in a graph that NASA published in its official website. This is the NASA official website on global climate change, and this is the graph. It shows clearly that while the average temperature of the biosphere over the last half century is increasing, see the red line, the corresponding solar activity is decreasing, see the yellow line. The significant divergence of the two curves demonstrate that to determine the increase in the temperature of the biosphere, in addition to the sun, there must be another source of heat. It is absolutely necessary. The scientific community does not say nothing about them, but it is clear that these are sources of heat attributable to man. That is all the heat generated by all billions and billions of heat sources lit for the infinite daily activities of all humanity. That is from the small engine of our cars to the large engine of large means of land, sea and sky transport. an infinite amount of means of transporting people and things, and means of transporting armaments and weapons for destruction and for war. It is a quantity of it which, taken individually, may appear insignificant and negligible, but when taken together as a whole are instead immeasurable and not negligible, because then silently, in the total indifference of all the scientists and all the people of the world, very slowly we bring the temperature of the biosphere to levels no longer compatible with life. Honorable Secretary General, as we write in our appeal for the Earth, the heat generated by the enormous number of sources lit by man, spreading in the surrounding air, gradually spreads through the entire biosphere, causing its temperature to increase very slowly. In fact, the heat, understood as movement of the molecules and therefore as energy, because of the absence of friction in the interatomic empty spaces, is destined to be conserved. And if the containers that contain the heat is thermally isolated, the heat is destined to accumulate, causing the temperature rise of the whole containers. This is unfortunately what is happening to the biosphere, because greenhouse gases are gradually transforming it in a thermally isolated system. That is, in a system that is increasingly like a giant thermos. And just like in a thermos, if you pour it into it, it is conserved. And the more you pour, the more it accumulates, and the more the temperature increases. What happens in a thermos like this happens also in the biosphere, but on a very large scale. When you pour hot coffee into a thermos like this, its heat cannot pass directly by conduction through the walls of the two containers of which it's composed. It cannot pass because a high vacuum has been practiced in the interspace that separates the two containers which form the thermos. Vacuum is practiced through this little spout, which is then valved. Moreover, it cannot be dissipated by radiation because the infrared rays generated by the vibrating coffee molecules are shielded by the thin metal layer that cover the surfaces of both containers. On an enormously large scale, we are realizing with our biosphere the same condition as existing in a thermos. That is, we are transforming our biosphere into a totally thermally isolated system, partly from the cedar vacuum that surrounds it, and which does not allow it to escape by direct combustion, and partly from the shielding action of greenhouse gases, which, by preventing the passage of infrared rays, prevent them to carry out in the deep space the heat generated in the biosphere. With this appeal, Honorable Secretary General, we ask you to propose a resolution finalized to let know to the Assembly of the Nations of the world the represented very serious condition in which the Earth is reduced. If the Assembly fully understands the enormous gravity of the heating of the biosphere caused by man-lighted fires, carry out a subsequent resolution which requires each nation in the world to introduce concrete policies intended to minimize the thermal impact that human activities have on the biosphere. In other terms, Honorable Secretary General, what we ask to you is to help us get back wonderful Earth, with less tanks, less thermobaric missiles, less war, less oil, more renewable energy, and more work and more happiness for everyone. Thank you so much. As now, if you want to take up this our Earth appeal of the Earth. Good work, Professor Guterres.